and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. Several MPs have criticised government plans to allow the creation of 3- and 4-parent babies. During a backbench debate in the House of Commons, Labour MP Robert Flello raised concerns about the safety of two controversial procedures.
Yes, indeed, from a moral ethical point of view, I have grave concerns, but I also have grave concerns from a public safety point of view. Because whatever your position on mitochondrial transfer is, I'm sure we must all agree that we can't authorise new research techniques which are unsafe or might be unsafe.
Conservative MP Fiona Bruce, who led the debate, also spoke out against the plans. She advised the government to be very careful before allowing techniques which are potentially dangerous.
This is a case of genetic engineering. It is the alteration of a potential human being by the removal of certain genes and the replacement of others to create children. Surely in such a case we should be very, very careful regarding safety before we proceed.
The procedures, maternal spindle transfer and pro-nuclear transfer, aim to create children free from mitochondrial disease. The UK will be the only country in the world to allow these techniques if they are legalised. The Great British Bake Off judge Mary Berry has suggested she supports legalising assisted suicide because she doesn't want to be a burden. The 79-year-old said she would love her children to be able to give her a pill. She told the Radio Times, "I don't think very old age, if you haven't got your marbles, can be very nice. I certainly don't want to be a burden, although under British law you can do nothing about it." Her mother died 3 years ago at the age of 105, but Berry said she doesn't want to be a centenarian, adding, "I think 90 is a great time. You've had a good innings." Alistair Thompson, spokesman for pro-life group Care Not Killing, said Berry's comments show why the law shouldn't be changed.
So it is deeply depressing that such a well-loved celebrity like Mary Berry has decided to back changing law on euthanasia. But within her own comments and within the interview, she says that she fears being a burden on society and to her children. And this is why we mustn't change the law on euthanasia, because the vulnerable, the elderly who do feel that they are a burden, would be vulnerable to ending their lives.
A columnist whose mother has advanced Alzheimer's expressed her shock at Mary Berry's stance. Amanda Platel admitted that caring for her 86-year-old mum is hard, but said the joys outweigh the hardships. Writing in the Daily Mail, Platel said of her mother, "When she gets confused, which happens increasingly often, she will say, 'Don't worry about me, Mandy, I've lost my marbles.' But it doesn't mean she is an unbearable burden to us." Platel said her fear is that elderly people like her mum would be pressured to die if the law was changed. Lord Falconer's bill to legalise assisted suicide had its second reading in the House of Lords earlier this year. New figures from Scotland show that over 3,500 schoolgirls have been given long-term contraception since 2010. According to information reported in the Scottish Daily Mail, many prescriptions were handed out without parental consent. Over the last 4 years, 3,562 under-16s had contraceptive devices implanted into their arms. 20 prescriptions were for 12-year-old girls. The figures were gathered from health boards in Greater Glasgow and Clyde, Grampian, Ayrshire and Arran, and Lanarkshire and Borders. Norman Wells, director of the Family Education Trust, said providing schoolgirls with long-term contraception is playing with fire. It is effectively giving them a licence to engage in illegal sexual activity and denies them the protection that the law on the age of consent is intended to give. It is deeply disturbing that parents are frequently left in the dark and know nothing about the high-stakes gamble being taken on the physical and emotional well-being of their daughters. A Scottish Government spokesman said there is no legal requirement for young people to discuss their contraception with their parents. The number of babies surviving birth at 23 weeks is rising. That's according to new information from a sample of 25 hospitals. The figures show that at least 120 babies born at 23 weeks, which is 1 week before the legal abortion limit, has survived since 2010. At the University College London hospitals, 6 of the 7 babies born at this stage last year survived. At North Bristol NHS Trust, all 5 babies born at 23 weeks survived after being given treatment. Conservative MP Fiona Bruce said the figures show that advances in prenatal care make a mockery of the 24-week abortion limit. But Polly Toynbee, a columnist for The Guardian, said babies born at 23 weeks who develop disabilities are restricting budgets for children's services. She said, Many of the saved babies end up in care because their multiple disabilities are beyond what parents can manage. Directors of children's services find they take in many now reaching their teens, needing 24-hour two-person care, crippling budgets for child protection and care of all the others. She also said abortion is very, very ordinary and a mark of civilisation. Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.